Hello, hello, hello. Hi. Hi, everybody. It's awful good to see you. Welcome. And Michelle, you're right. That is a French coffee cup. And I do love my French and Italian coffee. It's pretty delicious. It's great to see you guys. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're hanging in there. And we've got another Ask Me Anything set up to go. We're ready to rock. So, if anybody's got a question right off the bat, I'm happy to start there. Oh, yes, there's one from the ever questioning Elizabeth Poole, who I adore. Elizabeth went to France with us. We had fun in France together. We did. We had a really good time when I taught the class in France. All right, let me go to the chat so I can read
Here,
your.
Elizabeth asks, can you please explain what the relationship is between the successful fertilization of a human egg leading to formation of a fetus and the presence of the human energy structure?
That's a good question. That's juicy. Good start there, Elizabeth. And Eliza just came. Eliza's in print, you know. Yeah, she is. So it's good to see. Or Eliza, it looks like actually that we lost Michelle. She dropped off, I guess when oh, there she's coming back. Hi, Eliza. Yeah. And there's Leslie looking good in her lavender. I just want to acknowledge everybody. Hi, Nazi. Hi, Christine. I love your background. It's very pretty. Hi, Ritza. How's it going? We're so jealous of you up in Canada. Get the extra bedrooms ready.
Ready.
Thank you for coming, Ritza. Hi, Lori. Hi, sweetheart. Jelaine, it's awfully good to see you again. Thanks for coming back and hanging out with this wild and crazy crew. And of course, Elizabeth, who I know to already. And then, is it Mitna? Mitnia? What's your name? I can't see it. Come off the mute and tell me your name.
Sorry, that's my part of my email address. My name is Laurel.
Okay, well,
I don't know how that got there.
Well, it's
Figure out how to change it.
It's not Laurel.
No,
great
Mountain Laurel. Mountain Laurel is kind of a
Mountain Laurel. I
Yeah.
love it. One of my favorite things, Mountain Laurel.
Here we go.
And there's Chenson, the beautiful Chenson. Michelle's back. I'm glad you got back on there, Michelle. And then my old friend Hosanna has come. Her friend. It's good to see her. Well, it's good that you're all here and joined by Cheryl, and Bobby is always behind the curtain, but he's here too. And let's get going on that first very interesting question. Cheryl, would you read it again?
Sure. From Elizabeth, who works with babies in her practice. Can you please explain what the relationship is between the successful fertilization of a human egg leading to formation of a fetus and the presence of its human energy structure?
Well, the human energy structure arrives at the moment that fertilization occurs. So before the egg is fertilized, it's just sperm and egg separate, and they're related to their respective humans. But when there's a fertilization, the sacred anatomy notices immediately, and an entire structure in a miniaturized form will attach to the edge of the mother. And it'll be at the way out at the edge. And at that point, a silver cord goes directly from the human energy structure, where the umbilicus is in the human energy structure, which is along the channel, and it goes directly into the fertilized egg. So essentially, when conception appears, and there's Layla. Hi. Hi, Layla. It's great to see you. So when that occurs, that's the beginning. That's the very beginning. And the whole time that the fetus is developing in the uterus of the mother, the structure is on the outside of the mother's structure. It will not enter the mother's physical structure until right before birth. Because if it does, the mother is totally overwhelmed by the presence of this other large structure, which can help in delivery, but is not optimum for the 8th month or the 7th month, right? So when the baby is forming inside of the uterus of the mother, it's getting a download constantly from the sacred anatomy. And there are templates in the sacred anatomy of this is what this soul's version of a physical body is like. And it gives downloads of that into the physicality that's inside of the mother's body. And it begins to develop this extraordinary thing called a human being. We have electromagnetic fields around us inside of the mother's body because we're emitting electrical signals from every cell, from the brain, and this the evolution of the heart and the brain. There's immediately electromagnetic energy, and so that creates a increasingly larger electromagnetic field around the mother, inside of the mother, I mean, and sometimes outside of the mother, depending on the point in the evolution. But when you have when birth occurs, the structure has moved into and has taken possession of the physical body. So when the subtle takes possession of the physical, there's a kind of lining up that the 10 chakras of the electromagnetic field do with the 13 chakras of the sacred anatomy. So these line up. And when they line up, it's what what we call ensoulment. So ensoulment occurs, and there's a sort of a shift energetically. There's a kind of a downward movement of the energy. Hello, Naomi and Judson and Marie. All right, good to see you guys. So there's a downward energetic that comes, it kind of anchors the human person, physical human person, and the subtle human person. So it anchors them together. So they become really sewn together. They're not going to separate until death. And at death, the electromagnetic field dissipates, goes up, moves away, releases, and the physical body deteriorates. So what remains behind is the sacred and the subtle. Within the sacred anatomy is held a thing called the light body. And the light body has two kinds of energy that it uses in a kind of homogenized field. So you get a blend together of electromagnetic energy and subtle energy. Before conception, the light body in the sacred anatomy is essentially made of subtle energy with a kind of mirroring of what a human body would contain. So it has, almost like it's like a cardboard cutout of everything. It's not fleshed out, it's not 3D, it's not actionable at that point, but it's holding space. So it's a placeholder for an eventual physical body. So then when conception occurs, at the same time that the physiology is forming in the uterus of the mother, there is a coordinated effort between the light body, the other systems of the sacred anatomy, and the physical body, along with its electromagnetic field, to duplicate the information that the light body holds. So the light body and the template both work together to hold a kind of space for the evolution of a human body within the context of the development of the physical, right? So as that happens, it gets closer and closer to being able to be released from the mother's body. The weight gets too much. It usually is about 3 hours before birth, or sometimes as much as 3 days. I used to say 3 weeks.
You're frozen for me. Are you frozen for other people?
Yeah,
Yes, Desda has frozen. Let's see, where's Bobby?
Still frozen.
Oh, Desda, you froze for maybe 15 or 20 seconds there.
Am I frozen now?
No, you're not. Not now.
Okay.
Okay, we'll proceed.
Well, then I'm going to keep going. If I freeze again, you guys go like this. Then I'll
They did. They
because
did.
I don't know when it happens, right?
Will you see us if we go? If you're frozen, you probably won't see us. But
No, I can see you guys moving.
Oh, okay.
But I can see me moving. I'm moving when I'm frozen for you. Anyway, so do that so that I can change networks because I have another option. Okay. I think I said just about everything there was to say about that. Any questions from that, Elizabeth?
Yes. So my questions are many. What about, at least it is estimated that at least 1/3 of all successful fertilizations end before the parent may even know that there has been a successful fertilization. And just because an egg is fertilized doesn't mean it gets successfully implanted, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's sort of what I'm thinking about. And what about things like lost twins?
Well, okay, so I think there were maybe 3 questions in there. So the first one would be about what happens if a zygote dies or leaves the party, the structure releases and that's it. They're done. So if there's no download, essentially, if there's no physical connection and the structure doesn't start to develop as a unified event, right? If that isn't happening, then the mother is no longer attached to that energy. However, if that energy has decided this is the mother that it wants, it will hang around. And that's a lot of women will say, that baby that I miscarried is still here. I have no idea why, but it's still here. And I had to speak from personal experience. It was about 5 years before my daughter actually made it in. But she was like around for the longest time. And that may have been true for you, You may have been hanging around your mother for a really long time, waiting to come in to have just that exquisite torture of childhood. So it's anyway. So that is what happens. They just dissipate. They leave, and a lot of times, if the soul is basically disconnected from the physicality and has left, it may not stay at all. It may go on to something else, someone else. It may not want to wait for the woman to get pregnant again. It may be just really on the make for a new house. It can be really looking to move into another situation. I think that happens probably more frequently than the other, but anyway. Then there was another question that you had that I don't remember.
Well, there's a few more. Each one, of course, brings up another question. Well,
Just try to go with one question at a time, and then it'll be easier for me.
so what about like a full term, what do they call it? A full term baby who's dead.
A lot of times those babies have not ensouled. They didn't
Even though they're full
they
term?
didn't make it here. Even though they're full term and they tried, but the energies didn't line up. So if the subtle and the physical don't line up, you don't have ensoulment. So I have worked with people who literally are not ensouled. Like there's a part of them that just isn't there. There's maybe a part that is, but then there's a part that's not. And helping people come into their bodies. If any of you are body workers, you will have seen this. Because there are many, many people who are not all the way in their bodies. They're walking around on top of their knees or at their hips or something. They're just not all the way in. And so when you help them in soul, then they can become healthier and stronger. But they might have been people or babies that, they could have died. They could have not come in, So that's always up in the air. So what's your next question? You had one about twins.
Right. So it is well known in the pre and perinatal field that multiples are far more common occur far more commonly than come out. That is, one will perhaps be absorbed by, there's all kinds of amazing, mysterious things that happen there. So I'm guessing that's the same answer. It starts out, let's say, with two HESs hanging out about the mom.
Yeah.
And one of them doesn't make it for one reason or another.
Right.
Now, you have the complicated thing where sometimes the living twin absorbs some of the material of the other twin, and they see that in DNA. It's very interesting in crime scenes when they check the DNA of a person. A DNA may have a person who had a lost twin might have two kinds of DNA, so it's hard to prove.
Yeah.
So that must be very interesting about the HES. I'm just thinking of what it might be. It's like weird to think about.
Okay, so your question is, how does the HES deal with absorbed twins?
Yeah.
Okay. The HES is always and forever only one soul. There's only this idea that we are split souls or twin souls or multiple souls, or somehow or another your left arm has a different soul than your right arm. This is not what happens. There's one soul, and that soul is the sacred anatomy. That soul is this huge energy structure that remembers everything your soul's journey has ever experienced and is awake and aware to your needs as a being with purpose. So its impetus is to bring the soul's purpose forward. So if one twin is being absorbed, they have died. So their soul has pulled away, and the other soul is just like cleaning up the surroundings. by absorbing this other twin, having a little nosh, if you will, picking up a little bit of their twin. And the truth of the matter is that they're not carrying the twin soul with them. It's still their soul. And so it's a matter of that twin has left, has dissipated, has gone. Its structure is now looking for another home. And in fact, it may even wait around the mother to be a sibling later on. But the having two different kinds of DNA or more does not really mean that you have multiple souls. It's just one soul. Hi, Hosanna. So I hope that answers your question. And I think we should move on because there's lots of questions coming.
Thank you.
I know you have more, right, Elizabeth?
It's okay. That's basically the main thing. Thank you.
Okay, so keep the others in the back of your head, okay? Or write them down or something. Layla, hi, you have a question.
Yes, I do. So I've been having issues dealing with all the influx of energies that are coming in, and my blood pressure has been going up and down, up and down. And I've been in the hospital to work on my blood pressure. How can I reset my nervous system? Because I feel like I'm in continuous flow.
Okay, so this is actually a fairly complex question. When we have a physical problem, something that's really manifesting as physical, we need to determine sort of what the root cause of it is. Is it emotional? Is it psychological? Is it spiritual? Is it physical? If your sensitivity allows you to be aware of lots and lots of different things happening energetically on the planet, let's say, cosmic awareness. Maybe you're even aware of planetary events. Some people are. Maybe you're aware of governmental shifts. Some people are. Maybe you're aware of all kinds of things. There are more people that are more aware than we know. So it's not abnormal at all to be tremendously affected by what's going on energetically on the planet. Not at all. But if your blood pressure is going wacky, it's going up and it's going down and then it's going up, and you got to be in the hospital to deal with that, your first attention must be paid to the physical source. So they're trying to regulate your blood pressure with drugs, right?
Right.
And probably some diet, and maybe walking, exercise, something like that too.
Right.
And you also, I'm sure, in fact, I know for certain, have a spiritual practice. So you're following your spiritual practice while you're doing all of this.
Right.
So resetting your nervous system is not really what needs to happen. You need to reset the cardiovascular system.
Oh. Okay.
So that it's because your nerves are actually okay. You look to be and feel to me to be relatively calm person. But the blood pressure is reacting and responding. So it's the cardiovascular system that needs support. So in sacred anatomy energy medicine, we deal with a few energies. One of them is organ vitality of the cardiovascular system. So, or of the heart or of the lungs. And you need to, kind of understand like what kind of blood pressure issue you have, the clearer you can be, Layla, on what exactly is going on with your body physically, the clearer you can be with your, your spiritual addressing of that problem. It is my feeling that the best health care is when the integrative approach is followed, so that when we listen to doctors, we take in their information, and then we listen to people that do energy work, or we listen to acupuncturists and body workers, or we listen to lots of different sources, and we try to come up with the sort of magic combination that's going to work for our body. That might include something like psychotherapy. It might include, color therapy. It might include sound baths. It might include lots of things. But my feeling, Layla, is when I tune into you, and please just stop me if I'm not right on the money here, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So
Okay.
my feeling is that you're a fairly calm person. You take life in stride. You have a sense of, love and commitment to your community and home and family. And it is shocking to you for your body to kind of go haywire. It's a little shocking. So one of the things you could try doing would be to remove the signature of shock from your body.
Okay.
Because it's shocking to get a diagnosis like you have high blood pressure when you didn't think you did at all, or maybe you've kept it under control for years, but all of a sudden it's not controllable. So you can literally pull out of your energy structure, your physical body. You can pull it out of your physical body. Use your light fingers, reach into your physical body, reach into your sacred anatomy, reach into your electromagnetic field, and pull out the signature of shock. Because when we think about it, like what's high blood pressure about for us? Like our animals, as in our native environment. What is it that high blood pressure is about? It's a warning. It's like, get ready, something's happening. Pay attention. Our blood pressure goes up. Our heart's pounding, and we know that we have to watch out for that tiger that's coming in the cave. So in a way, the shock of the diagnosis is the tiger coming into the cave. And it's important to get that out. All right. But the problem started before you got to the doctor. So the problem's sort of ongoing. It's something that's been developing over time. Is that right?
That's right.
Yeah. So it could just be a function of the way your DNA is aging. Your body is aging this way. And I hate to say that, but as I rub the liniment on my joints, it happens that way for everybody. So everybody's got something, right? But I think pulling the shock out of your structure, and then you can ask, Layla, you can ask the Sacred Anatomy angels to help you. You can say,
Okay.
help me. Please help me control my blood pressure. I have had the experience of bringing blood pressure down for people who are like afraid to go into surgery, or terrified after a cancer diagnosis. I've helped bring their blood pressure down just by calling the angels, just by calling the Sacred Anatomy angels. And anybody can do that, whether you've had any training with me or not. Anybody can call on the angels to help. So those are some things I would recommend to you. And please get back to me and let me know how you're doing.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's see. There's some other questions I know. Let's go. Oh my goodness. Let's look at the chat.
So the next question from the chat is from Nazi. And she's quoting, and she might be able to tell us where she pulled this, but she puts it in quote, how does the SAEM create a quantum leap by stabilizing divine coherence until it becomes the system's new baseline? Or, she asks, is it simply reorganizing stability as it is done in the field?
Okay. Quantum leap by stabilizing divine coherence until it becomes the system's new baseline. Where did you get? Is this something did I say this, Nazi?
No, you haven't. It actually, let me rephrase the question. You did mention in 9 levels something about quantum leap, Can we just focus on that? How does Siam explain quantum leap?
Oh, okay. Being in two places at once. That's the cheap and dirty explanation of quantum leap. So in the context of the sacred anatomy, we have various locations where there's a quantum leap that occurs. Cheryl, can you show us a picture of, I think the yes circuit is a great picture to show to explain this. Anyway, so a quantum leap occurs when energy has to transit the soul layer. Because if it doesn't do that, it gets caught in the soul layer. The soul layer is moving lickety split. It's got more activity than anywhere in the structure. And the energies are swirling and spinning, and some are traveling in straight lines, some are blobbing up, and it's just constant movement. And the quantum leap has to occur when source energies have been initialized in the yes circuit. So they've gone around, they've been received. So first it's like they knock on the door, they're received, the door is open, they're in the mud room. So the information leaps from the interior of the edge into the yes circuit, and then from the yes circuit, it goes across the soul layer and into the beginning of a template strand where it's going to get down into the east stomach and personalized, initialized, and absorbed. And that's where our nutrition comes from. So you see the villi up here at the top, the purple and the green. And so they're coming in to these receptor sites, and then they come down and into the yes circuit. Actually, right here at the break between the bottom of the receptor sites and the yes circuit, there's actually a little place where there's kind of a little delivery, and it's a specific energy that comes in and goes directly into its own yes circuit. So each energy that comes in, and there's maybe a billion energies, they all have a yes circuit to travel in, and then they come in, and they don't just travel in like a circle or an oval. They travel like this all the way around. So they're constantly moving. And what happens in the yes circuit as the energies are traveling is they're getting up to the proper speed so that they can jump. So they're getting into an alignment with where they're going to go. So they're going to go, the energy is going to go from right here. You see this little like Dixie cup looking thing down here at the bottom of the yes circuit. That's a membrane. And then so that's a sort of a delivery system. And that's where it quantum leaps from. It quantum leaps from there across this rainbowy soul layer and goes right into the template strand. So green goes into green, and the pink grows into pink, or it's lavender is supposed to be. And when it goes in, it then travels down all the way down into the east stomach. We don't need to worry about that. But the quantum leap is always in places in the structure where the information needs to be more in alignment with where it's going than where it is. So it's at the underneath part of the yes circuit where it's sort of lined up to jump. It has achieved a certain I'm going to say speed. That's probably the wrong word to use to describe energy, but it's a kind of a speed, and it's right there. And then it jumps across the soul layer to that strand. That's because it can't be in the soul layer. If it's in the soul layer, it's lost. So it has to get to the speed that the strand is vibrating at. So it gets to the speed that the strand is vibrating at, leaps, goes in, and then goes down. Okay?
Is the soul layer the only place this quantum leap happens? Or is there
No,
any
it
other-
also happens in the caduceus. And that's another time when the energy has to cross something. In this case, when it has to cross through the core. The caduceus, you see here, is the caduceus. And up at the top and also at the bottom, the energies meet and then have to cross through. So the caduceus is the vertebral column of the core. And it has one current that is descending and one current that is ascending. So you can think of them as yin and yang. So at the front of the structure, the yang is descending, and we can think of that as the one with the kind of lighter color. And it's descending, that one, yeah. And it goes all the way down to the bottom, following along, supporting the chakras at the core, supporting all kinds of interactions. Then when it gets to the bottom, it actually has to go through the core to the other side where it then climbs up. So it ascends at the back, descending at the front, ascending at the back. So that would be the yang circuit. And it's a closed circuit. And so at the top, it does the same thing. It quantum leaps across the top. It goes from one side to the other and then goes down. And the same thing happens to the yin circuit, which is rising from below and then descending at the back. So you have actually two circuits that each have a quantum leap at the top and at the bottom. And that quantum leap is for all the energies that are in the circuit. So there are three energies in the circuit, and they all jump through. This is very much in the weeds. I hope you guys are not just glazing over.
No,
And
that's
anytime we apply the term quantum, we are making a reference to quantum field theory. And there's a number of superposition, entanglement types of and tunneling functions that have been tracked by physicists that are working in this quantum realm. So there are established science papers and research projects that have identified this. And so we see this phenomenon in the human energy structure with the subtle or quantum energies that feed us.
And when it leaps, when the energy leaps from one place to the other, it's maintaining the speed that it needs, that is going to be receiving it. And that's how it does it. but it doesn't stop in the core and it doesn't stop in the soul layer. So those are the two main places where you see a quantum leap in the subtle anatomy.
So, in essence, when the energy needs to happen in more than one location, that is what necessitates the leap. So it could be present at different locations simultaneously. Is that correct?
No, it's movement. It's always movement.
Oh,
Movement is happening. It's in two places at once because the movement is so fast. But if we slowed it way down, it would just be like transiting.
oh. So
But
it has a certain momentum
Right.
to occur. Okay, thank
And
you so
it's
much.
like as it's rising, the caduceus is rising, it's speeding up, so it gets to the right momentum to jump to the other side through the core, and then it comes down at the back at the right speed to get through to the bottom, and then it goes up again, and same thing. So it goes round and round and round, and it's two closed circuits. So you can't actually open the circuits and intervene with them. You can bring things to them, but you can't muck about with them.
Okay.
And that's also true with the yes circuit. You can't muck about with it. It does what it does, and then it brings that one little strand, and so if you try to get into the yes circuit, like pull one little strand out or something, that would not be possible. It's a sealed container, essentially.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, so what's our next exciting question?
All right, Chenson asks, please comment on how SAEM work impacts neuroplasticity. For example, when we work with brain-gut alignment, would that be an example of near plasticity?
Yeah, that's true. When we align brain and gut, it's like we're tuning the whole vessel, And so the plasticity of both gut and brain are famous, What's wonderful about the brain is that, being sort of the control center for the physical body, if something goes wrong in one part of the brain, the whole rest of the brain tries really hard to reroute around the problem. It tries to not fix the problem, but go around it. And so we see neural pathways being created and different connections being made, different parts of the body doing different things than what they normally do. And that's one of the miracles of the human brain, as it is the plasticity. And so its neuroplasticity is spectacular. The gut has a kind of neuroplasticity as well, being made of the same material as the brain. The interior of the gut is the same kind of tissue as the brain is made of. Yeah, I know that's a good one, isn't it? But because of that, the brain is it's in the gut. I mean, we talk about the head brain and the gut brain because we have two brains. And the gut brain is that instinctual and reactive gut that you feel intuitively, right? But the gut brain is more than that. It's also the ability to absorb nutrition and to release what's not needed. So it has this amazing capacity to release acceptance, to let go. So it accepts and then it processes and lets go. And that's this ability to let go of attachment. And that's happening in your gut. That's happening in your brain. So at a spiritual level, when we release attachment, we're moving on from something that we have kind of been mired in, we've been stuck in. We haven't been allowing ourselves to let go of an attachment that has maybe been torturing us at some level, right? So when we let go of the struggle and we let go of the difficulties, the gut lets go. So the gut has the ability to align with the elimination system of the sacred anatomy, which is based in the principle of the wonderful, capacity to release attachment. So when we release attachment, we can, not just poop, but we can change our minds. we can think differently.
So is also heart neuroplasticity?
Is what?
Heart.
Does the heart have neuroplasticity? Less neuroplastic. It's less neuroplastic. It's something about, I believe it's something to do with the tissue. And the heart tissue is like muscular, whereas the interior of the gut and the brain is different. It's gray matter. So it's different tissue. So you don't have that same tissue in the heart. Unfortunately, it'd be really great if we did.
Right.
But we don't.
Research has shown with meditation and so forth having that impact on neuroplasticity of the brain, but many of the SAEM procedures, whether it's a release of the elimination system, you were talking about that, that has a quality of creating more spaciousness in so much of what we do. And, similar to meditation, I would think that these procedures, clearings, techniques are also impacting the neuroplasticity, perhaps of the brain and the gut.
Well, I mean, that is to say that we are holistic creations, everything affects everything.
Yes.
If your brain is rewiring itself, your gut is responding. Your heart is responding. Your lungs are responding. Your blood pressure is responding, So it's everything works together. That's the elegant machine, of the physical body. We're so elegant. It's quite beautiful. And the subtle anatomy is the same. It also has an elegance about it. And I'll admit that I'm like the first one to go, wow, at the sacred anatomy. Because every time something new has been revealed to me and I go to check it out with 50 different people and scientists and books and my own meditation practice, I find that it's working. It's functioning. It's something that we can definitely call useful.
And I would also say that simply studying the sacred anatomy with its complexity, with its beauty and elegance and detail, that itself helps neuroplasticity, because engaging the brain to learn something new is how we keep that plasticity going. So that has been a joy for me to keep my brain healthy. Is there is so much to learn. And it also, working with it, helps me stay healthy. But just simply, looking at the pictures is effective. Studying the work challenges you, opens your brain into a new way of seeing, looking at the paradigms you've been holding and maybe letting some of them go. More space for new ideas. All of this supports that plasticity.
It does. And we've seen over and over again people's abilities shift through the years of study. People who've had strokes and people who've had brain events of other kinds, but people who've had, been born maybe with dyslexia or ADHD or ADD, or compulsions. We've seen a lot of these things change. And, I don't have a scientific paper. Yes, madam. I see Rita over here waving her hand. Rita, would you like to, or you're frozen right now. Maybe when you're not frozen, we can ask you to share something about your experience. But we've had so many people come through the work who've had these problems, that it now she's unfrozen. Okay, go ahead, Rita.
I'm, I'm so much better. I've had a stroke almost 30 years ago, and I'm so much better than I was, even when I started with you, Desda.
Yes.
And so, I mean, it shows that, that you can do it.
You can come back.
Yes.
You can come back. You have to have a lot of determination.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But you can come back,
Yeah.
It's not a death sentence, It's not the end. It's just a different way of being for a while. As you continue to come back, you find that you continue to keep growing. Right? Yeah. Thank you, Rita. Thank you, dear. Rita is a lovely, lovely woman. She's been around a long time. Okay, I think we'll maybe move on to the next question.
Sure. The next question is also from Chenson. She says, you had shared in the past that sacred anatomy energy medicine is a Tibetan Buddhist-based practice. Whether if it is so or whether if it is not, can you please share the philosophical basis of the ancient wisdom that permeates SAEM?
Okay, so not wanting to speak about it for the next hour, I think I will make this condensed version. It basically, if you look at the Four Noble Truths, that's a good place to start with sacred anatomy. And also the Heart Sutra is really something we take to heart. Form is nothingness, nothingness is form. That's the Heart Sutra that all Buddhists adhere to and pay attention to. And it is indeed what is happening in the sacred anatomy. Form is nothingness, nothingness. That is a profound primary Buddhist teaching. So the Four Noble Truths, I would say, the release of attachment, to release suffering, to release desire, which is another, like, not great translation, but it's really suffering and struggle. So releasing struggling releases attachment, releases pain. And that's kind of the general idea. If we can follow those principles, those ideas, we can get our head around, waving our hands in the air and calling on energies. And doing what seems like, looks like to the outsider, looks like we're doing something weird, but actually is very grounded in a spiritual truth, which is we are not separate from the divine. We are that. And I would say that is the profound teaching. That was a short version.
So that's Buddhist based, or why Tibetan Buddhist?
Well, the Tibetan Buddhists are they're a little bit newer along the continuum than the original work of Gautama Buddha. First it had to go to Tibet, and it's Padmasambhava who took the teachings of Buddha to Tibet. When he arrived, the Tibetans were cannibals and doing all kinds of wild magic, and they already had a form of healing called Bon medicine, which is still practiced. And much of it was based in understanding the power of gemstones and plants, and it was very shamanically based. And when Padmasambhava arrived, he came from India, and he arrived in Tibet. He took up teaching the Tibetans how to be Buddhists as his challenge. And in doing so, they actually began to incorporate some of the principles of Bon medicine and some of the earlier understandings. For example, the Tibetans had a huge, really a cosmology of many different goddesses and gods, and they were all very pantheistic in a sense. The goddess of the lake, the goddess of compassion, the goddess of love, and they had all these things. And when Padmasambhava came, his first task was to convert the gods and goddesses of the Tibetan faith to Buddhism. Cool, huh? So he converted them all. And then they became wrathful manifestations or peaceful manifestations. And they became all manifestations of the one, because even though there were many facets to the jewel, there was still just one jewel. And so as Vajrapani and Padalamo and Green Tara all converted to Buddhism, they agreed they were all one. And so there was a divine agreement. Padmasambhava was called the lotus born because he appeared one day in the center of a lotus at age 8. And the king had no son, so he adopted Padmasambhava, who then was raised in his splendor as an Indian king. Actually, it was in northern India. So he came to Tibet and everything changed. So the influence on me is Padmasambhava, and the influence on sacred anatomy energy medicine is Padmasambhava. So Padmasambhava, who's also known as Vajraguru or Guruji sometimes.
So it's not as if we were to inquire about the energy medicine work currently, the Dalai Lama, that in that space is not necessarily similar, but philosophically it's derived from that source.
Philosophically it is. And they don't do the same kind of things that we do, because their work is based in 800 AD, and it all dates from then, whereas this work is based in the 21st century. So it's like an updated, what's needed now. It's what's needed for this time in the evolution of human consciousness. And what began as a terma implanted has been opened now and is a teaching that is manifest in this time.
But I feel that some of the astral or EPA work we do is very much in alignment for some reason with some of the practices currently that is practiced by the Dalai Lama. I don't know, but maybe
the entity removal and astral removal. That's kind of a hodgepodge a little bit. The entity removal that I teach is a combination of several different streams. One is the Celtic stream that I carry as well, because my family traces back 13 generations of women who practiced Celtic magic. So I care. I'm my DNA is there.
I see.
And the teachings I've received in my structure and what I've studied is Tibetan, pretty much.
Okay,
But really Buddhist, you know.
Strong Tibetan tie for some
Yeah.
reason.
I also studied to be a religious science minister. I studied for 4 years to be a religious science minister, and I decided not to be because the political thing was stupid. So I like the religion politic. I don't like any religion politics. I don't like them in any religion. Politics don't belong in religions, but they're there in all of them. So I studied that because I was really inspired by Louise Hay back in the early 80s when she was working with AIDS patients and doing this amazing stuff, and miracles were happening when she would suggest particular uh, uh, affirmations. I have a book by her that I love. You Can Heal Your Life. It's a great book. But between the teachings of Catherine Ponder and Emma Goodwin and Ernest Holmes and Louise Hay, I understood something about what was called the New Thought movement. And it was a movement out of the 1800s, really out of the 1700s, started with mesmerism, and it came up, and there was just this growth of mind power, like we can heal with our minds. Now, in the same breath, I'm also studying Buddhism and I'm meditating every day, an hour and a half to 2 hours. So I'm having an experience of the mind evolving that way also. So there was a kind of interesting interplay. And I came out of it realizing that what I knew intuitively and in my heart was more important than anything that I had read. And that there were jewels and nuggets of power that I could take from all of these places, as well as from my childhood training from my grandmother and my mother.
Yes, because it does feel very big, and this helps.
Well, it is big. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. I mean, we've got huge, I don't even know. Do you know, Cheryl, how many terabytes of information?
Bobby was talking about something on the order of 10 terabytes of digital information, of video of Desda teaching, for example.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, all I wanted to do when I wanted to just sing rock and roll. I just wanted a good gig in a band, and I just wanted to play the tambourine.
Thank you for
Oh,
sharing
man.
philosophically.
Sure. Glad to help. I hope. I hope that was helpful. And is there another question?
Yes, Desda. And thank you for that too. This question comes from Ritza.
Oh, great. Hi, Ritza.
He asks, would you have suggestions from the SAEM perspective to healthcare practitioners who have to witness, assist, or perform euthanasia?
Oh, this is great. Yeah, actually, this is it's wonderful. See you, Laurel. Thanks for being here. See you again. Euthanasia is, first of all, it's nothing new. Euthanasia has been practiced as long as there's been people. There's been euthanasia because it used to be in the Inuit tribes, they used to put the old people out on an ice floe, and out they would go. And that's a quick death, actually. You freeze to death and then boom, there you got a nice view and you stop feeling much after a certain point and you just kind of go to sleep. So I recently was there with an assisted suicide. I was present. And what I did for this person was to bring in what I call the rainbow lights, which is a wonderful teaching that I received from a woman named Gail Pierce, who was the first medicine Buddha empowerment in the United States was done at her house for 6 people. So His Holiness came, stayed with her, and did this because she had met him when he was a little boy. She had met him in Tibet. She was walking through Tibet in her, 20s, or I guess, and just time that he had been discovered and brought, and there he was with her in Tibet, and he never forgot her. And so when he came to the United States, he contacted her and came to stay at her house. And Dr. Gale was the first one who exposed me to the rainbow lights, and I took one class with her. And after one class, she said to me, "That's all I need to teach you. You're done." And I went, "Really?" She was a chiropractor and a radionics person. She had an enormous, like, wall-sized thing that was a radionics machine. You'd spit on a piece of paper and then she'd put it in the machine and it would read out all this stuff. It was pretty, it was from the 1920s, this machine. It was really interesting. So she was a crackerjack healer, and I just loved her. I loved her very much. And the rainbow lights is what I did with my friend who asked me to be there when she died. And I brought in the rainbow lights. And that's what I teach in Medicine Bag, the class that precedes practitioner training, if that's something that you want to do. And it's a transmission, which I am authorized to give. In fact, I'm the Rainbow Lights lineage holder at this point. And so it's something that we can share, and you learn how to do, you learn how to bring it in, you learn the words to say and the movements there are certain movements. And Dr. Gale learned this when she traveled through Tibet in the late 30s. So yes, there are things we can do. There's also some energies we can bring in. There's one called Good Death that is a really powerful energy, and it helps us. It helps us remember the good and let the bad go, and it helps us not be so. There's another one called Holy Orders that's really good for dying. So there's specific energies that we use to accompany and support dying. So yeah. So contact me if you need any support with that, okay?
Okay, will do. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Lidsa. And again, keep your flag planted in Canada.
Try it.
Yeah. Sorry. Anybody else?
Unless somebody has their hand raised, which I don't see, I'll continue with the questions in the chat. And this is from Elisa. Whether she's in Paris or Italy, she's coming across the pond, contributing this question. Do the 4 aspects of the authentic self hold our best version to walk our path, our sole purpose in this lifetime? I mean, the best and the highest version we can express in this lifetime, which is not perfection, it is just related to our soul path.
Yeah, they do. And the cool thing here, Elisa, is that they do hold perfection. They do hold it. They do hold complete enlightenment, complete awakening, awakened consciousness. They do. They hold all of that. And it's something that we aspire to and move toward. And as we do more and more processes that release us, we become freer and more awakened, and we can step into stronger relationships with our physical body, our emotional aspect, which is not just the emotional self, but the divine emotional self, the mental, which is not just our mind, but it is actually the divine mind, and then also the spirit, which is not just our spiritual orientation, but the authentic spirit, because the four aspects are called the four aspects of the authentic self. And that is truly what we are. We are authentically complete. We are authentically in union with the divine. We are not little pieces of the divine. We are authentically in complete union with the divine. But that's at the interior. That's at the inside of who we are. And we have to get to that. We have to take away the, I did a session the other day with a young man who I really am fond of. But he spent some harrowing 10 years as a policeman, and he'd seen really horrible things, terrible, terrible, terrible things. And he had a kind of shell around him, a kind of encased shell. And it was really a wall to protect himself. And now that he's left the police department, we took the wall down. And he lifted up, which is pretty exciting. Pretty exciting to see that lift in somebody, because then they have access to the glimmer of hope that we can reach this internal awareness, that we can touch it. Do you have more about that, Elisa?
Yes. So the four aspects hold our divinity. I mean, the divine in us. So the potential of perfection
Absolutely.
of the world.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when we come into life, we embody. We have a soul purpose, because it depends from where we are in our evolution. So in this lifetime,
we have a life purpose and a soul's purpose.
Yes.
There's two things. So the soul's purpose is kind of constant. It's always going to be the same.
Yeah.
The soul's purpose. It's like your orientation, like your substructure.
Yeah. Yes.
And then you have a life purpose. Like, what are you meant to do this lifetime?
Yeah. Okay.
I think there's really two. And you know what? That life purpose can change over time, but the soul's purpose won't.
Okay. That's great.
The soul's purpose is always going to be the same.
The four aspect too will be the same always.
They are the same, but they will show you yourself. Like, if you tune into your four aspects and you want to see what they look like and they present themselves to you, you may see an emotional four aspect that's a 3-year-old and she wants a pony.
Yeah, but in this lifetime, that's my question.
In this lifetime. So you give her a pony, you tell her she's a big girl and ask her to grow up, and she can do it like that.
Yes, but my question was, they hold the soul purpose and they hold the life purpose. So the limitation of my lifetime at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
They hold both.
Well, they don't really hold the life purpose. The life purpose is manifesting in your every move. It's you. You're living your life purpose.
Yes.
Your structure is your soul's purpose.
Yes, but we are connected with our four aspect.
Absolutely. We're
Yeah.
connected. We're connected. And you almost can think of the life purpose as an electromagnetic event. 'Cause
Okay.
it's present time.
Yeah.
It's current. And it's going to dissipate at some point. And you
Mm.
can think of the four aspects as a subtle energy event.
Yes, because in my mind right now, I'm thinking about life purpose as limited, but soul purpose is really expanded. That's
Soul purpose is completely expanded.
yeah, and life purpose is limited to this lifetime.
It's limited to this lifetime, but it doesn't have to be a limited purpose. It can be a very expanded purpose, and you can change that purpose.
Okay, during my life.
Yes.
Okay.
The more awakened you become, the broader your purpose becomes.
Okay. I was trying.
Your initial purpose at age 20 might have been, I just really like to be more conscious, you know?
Yeah.
And then at 30, it might be, I'd like to be more directed in my intention. And then at 40, it might be, you know, I'd like to be able to really love somebody. Is there anybody that I could love? You know,
so that means that in each lifetime, I can achieve perfection.
You can.
Okay.
And you can decide if you want to stop being in a physical body. You know, becoming. What I mean is, you can get off the wheel of karma. You don't have to keep coming back. You can get off the incarnational wheel. You can. You can.
Okay, thank you very much.
You have to be really clear about it. You have to be clear. You can't be like, oh, I'm really bored today. That's not going to do it.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. I just want to say a quick hi to Nathalie, who I haven't seen in a while. It's good to see you. Nathalie, hello. I met you years ago. That's so nice to see you.
Hi, Desda. Absolutely. And studied with you for many times and love your work. And I'm off in Arizona here.
Well, that's great. We have Leslie Shade, who's also in Arizona.
Yeah. I do have a concerning question, if there's time for that.
Well, since I just spoke to you, I would say go for it.
Okay, the urgency. My heart is breaking about Minneapolis. So I'm from Minneapolis, and I've been doing, oh my God, and all my friends, several of my friends live close to those areas. Everybody's in serious, dire trauma. It's really horrible. And the hearts of the Minnesota people are that they go help people. And when this first happened, I thought, wow, don't piss off a Minnesotan, because there's Minnesota nice. And then there's like, if you push them to the wall about injustice, they will go and fight no matter what and put themselves in harm's way. So as you see, it's escalating. It's getting worse and worse and worse. I did do like a 7-day meditation with Chuni Lin. He's fantastic. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's a Tibetan master in Minnesota. He's actually got such healing capacities at the University of Minnesota. He's been studying him for 10 years, and he's got a school, all this stuff. And he did this chanting, beautiful chanting with 6 Tibetan monks, 7 days.
Sorry, I missed it.
Oh my God, they do it every year. They do it every year in the first part of the year. And I repeated it like 5 or 6 times a day. So I know to send love and send all that to de-escalate. Is there anything that you else can suggest? Because they're in dire straits. It's really sad what's happening. And the cruelty is just going on and on and on.
Yeah,
so,
I'm aware.
Yeah.
Here's what I'm going to say. And this is not, I'm speaking from my position as teacher.
Yeah.
Not as a citizen of the country.
Okay.
So as a teacher, we must hold the light high.
Yes.
So our job and our purpose here at this time in this place is to hold the torch really high, the torch of truth, peace, love, and possibility.
Yeah.
We've got to hold that high. We cannot succumb to fear and terror and the horror of it all.
Right. So I was just wondering, like, can we just keep sending love and keep sending, truth, light, visions? I keep sending, even the meditations, you bring in everybody, surround them with love, do all that. I mean, is
Yeah,
that
I don't see anything
appropriate
wrong with that.
collectively? Okay, because I
Yeah.
mean, there's always the boundary issues about,
Well, you're
invading
from
people's energy
Minnesota.
space.
You're from
Yeah.
Minneapolis.
Yeah.
So in some degree, you own the city. All right.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you can set up a thought form of Minneapolis, and you can just bring all the love you want into Minneapolis, and
Okay.
it will blow out into all the people.
Sure.
But
Sure.
don't bring in energies to people unless they have given you specific permission. But you
Right.
can
Yeah.
certainly bring it into a
Collectively.
city. You can bring it
Yeah,
into a city. You can bring it into public buildings and spaces. When we are the owners of those places, so
Yeah. Okay.
we can interface with them.
Okay, that's good because
Yeah,
they need help. I mean, my friends are saying we need help. We need help from people around the country. There's just
they do.
it's just not. Yeah. Yeah.
They do. They need
Okay.
help. And
Yeah.
so that's from this perspective
Okay.
that I can tell you.
So I can send to the buildings and those places. Yeah. Okay. Super.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have to hold that light high because it's really easy to drop. It's easy to drop the torch and make a fist.
Sure.
It's really easy
Oh,
to do that.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's extremely important to not make a fist, but to hold the
Yeah.
torch high. To follow the teachings of Martin Luther King, who was, his birth, his day is coming up. And we always want to remember the teachings of King because he was such an incredible pacifist.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Okay,
Thank you,
thank you.
Natalie.
Oh, and great to see you, Desda. I miss you. Miss your teeth.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great to see you, sweetheart.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you
yeah.
should get on the website and check it out.
Okay.
Yoursacredanatomy.com.
Super.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to take one more question, and Christine is right there and just got her hand up. So go for it, Christine.
Oops. Oh, yes, I'm on.
You are.
Thank you. And oh gosh, Minneapolis, I've got ties there. Anyway, when you're talking about getting off the incarnational wheel, this is something that's been in my purview for a while here. And I'm wondering if when you're talking about that, if we're talking about going to more of the higher astral fields instead of the earth incarnational, or can you just say a little bit more about that?
Well, when you stop you have an opportunity when you die. You have an opportunity to, clean everything up that happened. You have an opportunity to complete. You have an opportunity to set your intention for what you want to learn during this period of we would call it time, but it's really space that you are on the other side. And it's during that time that you would decide to leave the incarnational wheel. It's during that time that you would take teachings and study about what you need to know or learn and what the value of being on the incarnational wheel is for you. So there is great value coming back around again. And the desire to be on another plane and not do this anymore is high for people, So I want to get out of here, but the truth is you have to really get to the place where you absolutely love life and it brings you such joy. And so when you're pinning the joy meter consistent and you're feeling the beauty of this place, that's when you're getting ready to get off the circle. Cool. If you're walking around, you're nowhere near. You don't get off by being sad. You get off by being filled with joy, bliss, and ecstasy. This is how you get off. And I don't mean arriving at it through sex.
Yeah, well, that's
Christine.
that's well.
I'm kidding. I'm joking around.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's, what you're just saying makes absolute sense to me. And so I'm urging myself to really become that unfettered of opinion and discharge and blaming what's happening or, any of that stuff.
Yeah. You can't really live from an agenda.
Yeah.
You have to live from the heart of the divine.
Yeah.
And that's where the shift takes place. If you're living from an agenda, like I've got to do this, this, and this, and this, and this, and I need to make more money, and why can't I be more successful? And if all that is your thing, you're not, yeah. But if you step into the joyous place, and it's not easy to do, I mean, that's hard work. It's really hard work to be joyous all the time. First of all, people think you're nuts.
And then still be authentic too.
Yeah, right.
Like if the screaming wants to go, it's like, okay, do it. All right. Now what's next?
Yeah, my grandson is there. He's just there. And when he's in nursery school now, and his parents had a parent-teacher conference on yesterday. My daughter said that he's so excited and happy about everything that sometimes he just stands in the middle of the schoolyard and goes, just at the top of his lungs. And they said he's just so happy. And they're like, they were a little worried at first, and they went over and said, what's going on, Bodhi? His name is Bodhi. What's going on, Bodhi? And he looks up and he goes, I'm happy. And that's kind of what we have to remember. Like, we have that in us. Yeah. We were all 3.5 once. And we all, at some point during that early childhood, we experienced unlimited joy. And it may have been associated with candy, but we had it. So I'm going to have to close, and I'd like to share a couple of things with you. This has been delightful. Thank you very much, each of you, for being here. It's been wonderful to see you. And if there are questions I didn't get to, so sorry. It's just what we had. So the next one is February 13th and then March 13th. So put those on your calendar, and when you think of a question, write it down and then bring your questions to the party. Because there's never an agenda. This is spontaneous. I'm going to do a Song of Garden again on February 8th. I do not have a topic at the moment. I'm kind of waiting to see where we're at on February 8th. So it's going to be probably that day when I call it.
Cool.
And so there it is. And then my book. If you don't have my book, get my book. It's a good book. It's a doorstop. You can, it's 3.5 pounds. So, sorry about that. And we're working slowly on a new thingamajobber, a new edition. This is the legacy library that we've put together that has terabytes of data. It's available for practitioners at this time, and will be launching February 12th. It's a new era in the development of SAEM because we have put everything in one place. So there's a lot to be said about it, and we're releasing videos twice a week that describe it, answer questions. Cheryl just did a great thing yesterday, answering questions about how it works, and it's really built for practitioners to use during sessions, so they can do things like type in an energy and that the day or the moment that it was taught comes up, and you can remember the download of the energy. So there's all this stuff. So it's pretty exciting. All the pieces are there that we work with, the clearings, alignments, and procedures, as well as all the information from the 3-hour classes and everything. Everything is, and there's a wonderful FAQ, Nazi. She wanted an FAQ. She has one now. Okay. All right, kids. Kids and grown-ups. It's good to see you guys. It's wonderful to be here with you. Blessings and love surround you all the days of your life, and may you experience joy today. Bye. Bye all.